Hey everybody. Sorry. Anyway. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Don't ask, it's okay. Happy New Year and happy new keychain tutorial. It's been a minute. Don't come after me. Anyway. Today's tutorial is the super spiral, which is this guy, and this is the one that I actually make in the video, so you see the finished product here. I will show you step by step, obviously, in this video. But very, very simple stitch. To me, it is. It's just like the DNA, just no zigzag effect, no back and forth. So it's just one constant, twist. But anyway, so that's today's tutorial, and I just want to let you guys know for this keychain what you'll need. You need 4 strings. I did 4 different colors here. You do not have to do 4 different colors. You can do whatever variation you want. You can do 2 colors but have 4 strings, like these guys right here. I have these on my Etsy. There's actually, at this point, there's 4 left. But I have white on here twice, and then I have royal blue on here twice. So you can do it however you want, but for this tutorial, to make it simple and for it to be easy to follow colors and strings, I went ahead and did 4 different colors. So I hope that's easy to follow. I hope it's not too difficult. If you guys have any questions while you're doing this stitch and you're struggling, put them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer those in word form, and if I can't, then I will make a short about it and tag you in it. So yeah, hopefully it goes well. So, but I don't want to hold you any longer, so let's go ahead and let's get into the tutorial. So like I said in the intro, you're going to need 4 colors for this stitch, or 4 strings. So I went ahead and chose light blue, magenta, and white and purple. So here's my white, and then my purple. So let me show you this example here. This was a trial test long ago, so ignore how bad it looks. It's very small. What I mean by outer color is the white. Okay, so the white wraps around the yellow and the orange. Okay, it doesn't touch the green or the teal that's in the middle there. So that's what I mean by outer color. And truthfully, in this keychain that I'm gonna show you, I'm actually using white as that outer color. I think it just ties everything together better, and it just looks so clean. So that's why I always choose either white or black as my outer color, but you can use whatever you want. So that's what I mean by outer color. And then I decided I'm gonna do light blue and purple as my yellow and orange, and then my magenta is going to go in the middle where the teal is. So look at your colors and go ahead and decide what order you want to start in, because especially your outer string or your outer color, because that one's going to be longer than the other 3 strings. All right, so I'm going to start by cutting my strings. So I'm going to start by cutting the outer string, or the outer color that I'm going to be using, and that is the white. This string is 7 feet long, so grab a ruler and go ahead and measure 7 feet of this string. Your other 3 colors, or other 3 strings, are all going to be the same length, okay, and they're all going to be 4 feet. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with purple, and I'm gonna measure 4 feet, and then I'll just duplicate that with the other 2 colors. Okay, so now I have my strings all cut and ready to go. I have my outer string, and then I have my 3 other colors here. So I have 7 feet and 4 feet. To start this stitch off, it's exactly the same start as the DNA stitch. So if you've watched my video on the DNA stitch, or you know how to start a DNA keychain, then you already know how to start a super spiral. But if you don't worry, it's okay. I'm still gonna show you. So we're gonna set our outer string to the side because we don't need her yet. I'm gonna start with my blue. I guess it doesn't really matter, blue or purple, as long as it's the color you want on the outside. But I'm gonna start with blue. So my order is gonna go blue, pink, purple. They could also go purple, pink, blue, but I'm starting with blue. So I'm gonna take a loop, okay, and I'm going to put it on my finger. I am right-handed, so I use my left hand to hold all my strings, and I use my right hand to work with them. So I'm just creating a loop, and I'm just putting it on my pointer finger on my left hand. From here, I'm gonna hold that string down with my middle finger, and I'm gonna take the front of the string, and I'm gonna loop it up and behind, okay, right in between those, okay, and it's just gonna be parallel with the string I started. So again, I was here, I'm just going up and around, okay? From there, I want to hold that string in place, and then I want to measure and make sure my ends are even. They are not, but they're very close. So I'm just going to work with my string a little bit here, pushing and pulling, and I'm just going to make those strings as even as possible. And that's the best we're going to get. So there's that first string. I'm going to do that exact same thing, what I just did, with my other 2 colors. So I'm going to take my pink next, and I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to slide it on my finger right beside that blue loop that we just created, okay? So nothing is crisscrossing right now. Everything is parallel to one another, okay? So again, I'm going to copy that same step. So I'm going to loop it up and behind, okay? And then I'm going to hold it, and then I'm going to check my strings, and they are not even. So I'm going to take a second and make them closer. All right, so now that my strings are even for my pink, we are done with 2 out of the 3 strings. And again, repeat that same process with purple. Okay, so I'm going to create a loop, slide it on my finger right beside that pink. I'm going to create a loop going up and around, and I am way off this time, so let me do this real quick. Perfect. We are pretty even. Okay, so here are my 3 middle strings, all looped and secured on my finger. Now I'm going to hold these strings in place with my middle finger, just kind of holding the backs, and then my thumb pinching it. That way nothing gets loose, nothing gets shifted, anything. Now I'm going to take my outer string, or my white, my 7-foot string, and I'm going to take one end of it, if I can get it here. I'm going to take one end, and I'm going to slightly lift my strings just by shifting my finger a little bit to create space underneath all 6 of these loops, so that I can easily slide this white string under all 6 loops. Okay, so I was just kind of pressing up a little bit to give some space. Once I have that, I'm going to get my other end of my 7-foot string, and I'm going to meet these 2 ends together so that I can pull and find the center of that white string. So there's my center. So I'm going to drop my strings. I'm going to put the left on the left, and I'm going to put the right on the right. Okay? We are almost done starting this. My hand is starting to cramp, or my fingers, but that's okay. Pushing through. Okay, now I'm gonna take the right side. So I'm gonna find my end again. Here's my end of my right side. And I'm gonna work on the bottom of these 6 loops. So this is the famous over, under sequence that we're gonna follow. So I'm gonna go over the first loop, over that first purple loop, and then I'm gonna go under the second purple loop. Over the first, under the second, and I'm not gonna go over under that first loop, I'm gonna go over it. Over, under, okay? Once you have that, you can pull that string completely through. And you might want to be careful because this is going to give you a twist. So I'm going to finagle that here, and I'm just going to twist that string so it looks more like that. Okay, so that's the right side. So I'm going to kind of put it to the bottom here so that way we don't grab it again when we do the left side. Okay, once your keychain's looking, or the start of your keychain, I guess, is looking like this, you're ready to move on to the last and final step of stitching this together. So now I'm going to take the left side and I'm going to do the exact same thing, but instead of going on the bottom, I'm going to go on the top. So I'm going to tilt my finger up here and I'm just going to go the other way. So I'm going to go over the first loop, under the second loop, over the first loop, under the second loop, and then over and under. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull, and again, I'm going to flip this because if not, I will get a twist. So you should kind of have like an S shape here with your white string. And as long as you pull this off your finger and it doesn't fall apart, then you did it. So this is all I need to do with my finger. So I'm going to let go of my string and I'm going to gently pull it off my finger. Okay, I'm going to stretch my fingers real quick because they're hurting. And now I'm just going to take one color in each hand and I'm going to work as close to this forming box that I can, and I'm just going to gently pull. And as you can tell, we now have 3 boxes on top of each other. We have the blue, we have the pink, and then we have the purple. Okay, as long as yours looks like this right now, you did it. So congratulations. If it doesn't look like this, you might have looped your strings wrong. You might have looped them backwards, or you did your S backwards. You might have had a Z instead of an S. At that point, your white strings would have fell out completely and you would have had nothing good. Now that I have this, I'm going to flip it over and I'll see my 3 loops, and I'm going to take my key ring. I use circles, and I'm going to insert it underneath all 3 of those loops. Maybe the blue one. Maybe the blue one. Come on, thank you. And then I'm just gonna rotate it till it's on and it's secured. And then I'm just gonna tighten it one more time because that tends to loosen it a little bit. But there we go. So that is the start of a super spiral keychain, or a DNA stitch as well. So yeah, but now we're ready for the actual layers. So now I'm gonna walk you through how to make a layer. And what's great about this key ring, or this keychain, and personally why it's like my second favorite to make, is that each layer is the same. So when you do it 5 times, repeat that process over and over and over again until you run out of string, and then you can tie it off. That's all you're doing. So I'm going to show you it 2 times. I'll show you a slower, and then I'll do like my speed, but still kind of walking you through it, and then that'll be it, and then I'll show you how to tie it off at the end. So let's go ahead and do a layer. So I'm going to hold it so that my middle color, or my white string, my outer layer, my outer string, outer color, whatever you're calling it, honestly, I give it 5 different names, is up and down, okay, is vertical. And then your 3 colors are on the side. You're gonna start with the bottom outer string, Okay, so I'm gonna start with this bottom white. Do you see how it is coming out of the right side of this box? Okay. Everything that we do is going to be at a diagonal from where it is starting from. Creating keychains or creating layers at an angle or at a diagonal is going to give you that spiral effect. Okay, if I just take this and just go right across for everything, I'm gonna get a box. And I'm not gonna lie, boxes that are not just two colors are ugly. I said it. Don't come after me, or come after me, I don't care, but they're ugly. I've never made one, and I don't plan on making one, because why would I waste my string on something ugly? Okay, it's just flat and it's huge and it's bulky and it's just gross. So no. So I make everything in a twist because it looks so much cleaner and better, and it's just so good. Okay, so there's my rant. I'm sorry, but I don't do boxes unless they're two colors. So we're gonna start with this bottom string, getting back on track now, and I'm gonna take it up here and I'm gonna put it between this white and this blue. So I'm gonna create a loop, and I'm gonna hold it between one of my remaining fingers back there. Okay, so I just have a loop. Okay, this top string is coming out of the left, so I'm gonna loop it and bring it down parallel, keyword there, beside that other loop. So I have two loops side by side, and if I hold that key ring straight on, you can tell those two loops are at an angle, and that's what we want. Okay, reminding you, this layer is the same for every layer. So once you have this down, boom, you're good. I'm now starting with my top left string, or this blue. Okay, it is coming, if I look at the blue square, just the blue square, that blue string is coming out of the bottom. So that's telling me, okay, I gotta loop it and I gotta take it to the top. So I'm gonna go over the first loop, under the second loop, pull, and I'm just gonna leave it at the top. Nothing is ever gonna go above that string. Okay, as I go back and forth between each string, they're just gonna layer on top of each other, working their way down. And I'm doing one color at a time. Okay, I'm gonna take my other blue string here, and I'm gonna go over this loop, under the second loop. Now this layer is hard to see on this tutorial. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do another layer after this, because the first layer is always the trickiest, because your strings are so long there. You have nothing to hold. It's like I'm holding my fingers in my key ring. Like it's a struggle. I get it. I understand. So that's why I'm going to show you again in another layer. Okay, but now I have my blues, and try and hold it. My blues are parallel. Okay, nothing is gonna go above those. I'm gonna take my pink, and I'm just working left, right, all the way to the bottom. Over the first loop, under the second loop, kind of an angle there, and I'm going to untwist this, and it is right below that blue. Okay, take that other pink string, same thing, over, under, pull, get it out of the way. Pinks are parallel. Taking my last and final color is purple. I'm going over, under, and make sure that your finger is like right here, your thumb, because if not, that string's just going to fall through and be a pain. So hold your finger there so it doesn't do that. And then once you bring up your last purple string, that'll close that gap so that purple string can't fall through. Okay? Once you have this, once I let go, nothing should fall apart. If it falls apart, you did something wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this. So again, I'm taking one color in each hand, and I am just gently tightening it. The closer you tighten to the boxes themselves, the tighter your stitch is going to be. And that'll definitely give it a more clean look once it's all together. Okay, there's that one stitch, and as you can see, if I lay my strings out for the next stitch, everything's in the same place from where we started. Okay, this one's coming out of the bottom, or bottom right, this is top left. Everything's the same. If your strings switched, then you need a box. Okay, and then you need to undo that and do it again and again. Make sure everything is at an angle, okay? Or else you're gonna get that box stitch or no stitch at all. So now that our first layer is done, hopefully the second layer when we do it is not as much of a struggle as, you know, what I went through, but it's okay. It's gonna take time. I'm gonna be honest. The first time I did this stitch, it did not go well. I have to look for it. I have it somewhere. If I find it, I'll show it to you in the conclusion, in the outro. It's somewhere around here. So let's walk through this again. I'm gonna go a little faster, but still walking you through it. So again, starting with this bottom white string, I'm gonna loop it up and over and put it between the other white string and the blue, creating a loop. Okay. Now I'm gonna bring that top white string down towards me, keeping it parallel with that other white string and creating my second loop. So I have my two parallel loops right here. Okay. Now I'm gonna take my blue, my top left blue, and I'm gonna go over, under, and I'm going to, oh, maybe, let's go with it. Yep, grab onto that, pull it through, and it's now the top string, nothing's going above it. Okay, here's my other blue. I'm gonna go over, under, and I'm gonna keep it parallel to that first blue string that I just did. Also moving that string out of the way, okay? Moving on to my pink, my middle color. I'm gonna work on the left side first. I'm gonna go over the first loop, under the second loop, pull through, again, pushing it out of the way. Second pink color, over the first, under the second, pull through, keeping it parallel. Grabbing that last string on the left side, which is my purple, going over, then under, pulling through. This one is actually twisted. Let me fix that. There we go. And grabbing the final string without letting it go, going over, then under, pulling through. Let go, nothing should fall apart. I'm going to pull. Again, keeping that tension towards the middle is going to be your best bet. Okay, and there we are. And if I do this, you can see we're starting to spiral. I'm gonna go ahead and work on those 45 to 50 layers, and I'll show you the outcome of this keychain, and then I will, again, I'll show you how to tie it off, and that'll be it. Now that I went ahead and took the time to finish this keychain, this is what I have. And as I was doing it, I was thinking, I was like, well, I normally go 7 spirals down. This is 8 though, because I made it so tight that it needed another one because it's too short. And there are 8 layers, like every half. So starting from here to here is 8. So if you think about it, you're really doing 56 to 64 layers, depending on how many spirals you're going down. So I did 64. So here's the finished product, and now we're ready to tie it off. So I'm just going to take all my strings and I'm going to loop it around my finger, just like this. And then I'm going to slip my finger out from that loop, and then I'm going to put every string, either one at a time or 2 at a time, through that loop. So once I have all my strings through that loop, I'm just going to gently like push and pull. This is really hard to explain, but I'm just pushing, pulling, and making that knot tighter. So really push and pull. Now this purple is twisted, which I don't like. So I'm gonna take a second and fix that. I went ahead and fixed that purple string so it's not twisted and looking dumb. So I'm just pulling, shifting, making sure it's somewhat centered to the whole keychain. And then I go ahead and measure it from the key ring to the 7-inch line. So where my finger's at, where my thumb's at, is 7 inches. So I'm gonna hold it there, and then I'm gonna take my scissors, and I'm just gonna cut it. And that way the tail is all even, and then we have ourselves a beautiful super spiral keychain. Alright everybody, that is the end of this tutorial, this super spiral guy. I mentioned in the video that I wanted to find my first super spiral and show you guys. Well, guess what? I found her. This is it. Actually, I'm not gonna hold the tail. This is it. This was my first super spiral back. Oh gosh, when did I make this? 2020? 2019, 2020? I think it was the first time I made this. I don't remember. Anyway, here's the first one. Look how tiny it is. And look at this big guy. Ooh, she's ugly. And then the way I tied it back then. What? Like, compare and contrast, like, before and now, like, then and now. Like, it's crazy. Like, how much, you know, something can evolve over a couple years. Dude, that's crazy. Ugh. Anyway, she's back there. She'll never go anywhere. I'll probably keep her for the rest of my life. Please like and subscribe, because then that tells me that you enjoyed it and it was helpful and that you want to see more. And then that'll, you know, convince me to, you know, make more videos, you know, not 3 months apart. Yeah, and then also comment down below what other tutorials you want to see me make. Pineapple is on the list, I understand. The thing with pineapple is that, like, I'm still learning that stitch myself, even though I've known it for 2 years, I think now. Yeah, it's been 2 years, maybe 2.5. But anyway, I don't make it all the time, so I'm not, like, confident in myself to make it. So I still have to go back to the video I learned from and watch it and make sure that I, make sure that I, you know, have it right, or else it won't go so well. But I promise you it is on my list. So it will come out eventually, because I know you guys like how I explain things and how I teach. And again, thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.